You so much for having me and welcome everyone. I'm actually super excited to be here as well. And what a wonderful intro. I just wanted to say thank you very much for that. And I can see a couple of familiar faces as well. So thank you for being here. That's also super exciting. So a big wave out to you as well. And those of you who don't know me, you're in for a bit of a treat. And I prepared a lot of cool stuff for you, a ton of value in there. So hopefully you are rested enough and you've got maybe pen and paper with you. And you can take some notes as we go along. I'm going to be sharing my screen mainly so you can see some of the slides, some of the exercises. I'm all about being practical. So my personal biggest goal for you and objective for you today is to walk away with something super, super practical and tangible. So you will be getting specific exercises that you can implement immediately after this workshop today. And as we move along, just feel free to drop your questions into the chat. So as Yuli mentioned, towards the end of this workshop, we're going to go through them. And if we have some more time, we can also open up the floor. And you're going to get a handout as well at the end of it. So I'm not just all about the talking the talk, but walking the walk as well with you. So you can get something to take away with you. So with that said, I hope everyone is feeling ready. Quick nodding or shaking the heads. Are we good to go? Cool. Loving this energy so far. So first of all, what is even mindfulness when we talk about in terms of marketing? Because most of you are being in the field of, being holistic practitioners, working within the spiritual industry. I don't need to introduce you the actual concept of being mindful. So I'm not here to tell you that you all know what that means. But lately, you might have heard this maybe a bit too often when we speak about all of different areas of being mindful about things. There's a reason for that. And as Yuli already mentioned this, our world is changing. You probably all feel it as well. Business and marketing is no different. So when you are becoming more conscious about your actual actions and what you do and where you shift your focus and how you do certain activities, the same thing can be replicated in your marketing activities as well. So you can actually become a lot more focused. You can become a lot more conscious, understanding what is working for you and what isn't working for you. I've been doing what I'm doing within the spiritual industry for 4 years now, and before that for 10 years. So I've got quite a bit of experience within the world of marketing, but there's one thing that keeps coming up, especially for healers and also spiritual practitioners. There's a lot of chaos. Usually that's happening when it comes to marketing services or trying to build a business. So don't feel bad if that sounds like you a little bit. This is very normal because you are not entrepreneurs, you are not marketers. If you have that background, great, use that to your advantage. But if you don't have the skills, if you haven't been taught how to do your own business management or your own marketing strategies, don't feel bad, okay? This is what we are here for today, to share a little bit of that, so hopefully you can get going. The same sort of principle that you apply within your own practice, within your own lifestyle, maybe your own morning routine, maybe your eating habits, your walking meditation, whatever it is, that little space that you have created for yourself, when you can numb down that little chaos in your mind, and you can turn that volume down a little bit so you can really pay attention to what's happening within you, around you. Do the same thing for your marketing. I would start with that before I go into the practical details. So after this session, or maybe in the next couple of days, just allow yourself to disconnect for a couple of hours and take a step back and really look at, what is it that I have been doing within my marketing so far? What does even the word marketing mean to you? Because usually you will see that a lot of people have these kind of negative or heavy associations when you think about marketing your business, and that's very common as well. So I would start sort of digging to the bottom of this sort of connection in your mind. What does it mean for you to be even mindful in your marketing? How does that look like? Does it mean that you are going to feel confident when you are marketing your skills? Does it mean that you're going to feel calm or relaxed, or are you going to feel, I don't know, accomplished or successful? figure that one out first before you even try to listen to any of the marketing advice that I'm about to share or you're going to be reading in the coming days. So that's a little bonus exercise for you that I would recommend to starting with. But I've got a couple of very tangible steps to help you get started with, to help you get a little bit closer to becoming more mindful in your practice as well. And these are these top 3 that you can see on the screen. And you're going to be getting this presentation as well after the workshop. So if you don't feel like taking notes, then it's all good. You're going to get it through an email a bit later on. But the number one thing is, please stop listening to those kind of marketers, those kind of so-called experts who are pushing you with the aggressive methods, and they call themselves the growth hackers. You probably have come across some of these lovely people over the years. Maybe you've, I don't know, you've stumbled across them while you were frantically Googling how to market your business. That's normal. The market, unfortunately, has become a little bit oversaturated. And while they are really good at increasing revenue for traditional businesses, they don't understand that the spiritual industry is very different. Your audience, the people that you are dealing with, as either maybe you are healers, maybe you are coaches, it just won't work. You are going to create this sort of resistance with your audience if you are trying to hide behind these traditional marketing tactics. People need to understand who you are and what makes you you. What is your energy? How is your energy coming across your materials? And those materials are simple things as your Instagram bio. It could be a simple thing as your website, your email signature. It could be a simple thing as a sign on your shop, if you have maybe a physical location. So try not to get caught up in those latest trends when these growth hackers will tell you that this is the only one-size-fits-all strategy. That does not work. They can really do wonders for traditional sectors, maybe real estate or, I don't know, something like retail. But when you think about your product, eventually is you. You are your biggest product, okay? Because you are the one who has maybe the insights. You are the one who becomes the vessel when you're working with energy. You are the one who has the downloads. You are the one who is channeling. You are the one who is physically working on that other person. Okay. So try to understand this deeply, that traditional kind of methods will not always going to be beneficial to you. And that's perfectly fine. What you need to first figure out is, how can I become me in my marketing efforts? How can I be more mindful of what works for me? What are those kind of activities that I actually enjoy doing? So if maybe someone told you that you should be sending out 100 messages on social media to people that you don't know, and it makes you feel like, I don't want to do that, then don't do it. Okay, so you're never going to get the same results if you feel that way versus someone doing it because they are so driven by just I don't know, misleading people, and they don't care about the impact that they are creating in the world. All of you are here on this planet right now to make a positive impact, to help humanity evolve, to help humanity heal. And it's not going to work out properly if you're using tactics that are going against your own values. And I'm sure I don't need to remind you of that. The growth hackers, these traditional marketers, will not get it. If they are not going through their own development journeys, if they're not going through their own spiritual journeys, it's going to be very difficult for them to even get you, to even understand what is it that you are trying to do. And guess what? Your audience is just as intuitive as you are, okay? So even if you are going to be using any of these traditional tactics or unethical methods, your audience will suss you out. They will smell the BS from miles because they are just as intuitive as you are, okay? And the second bit that you see here, it's a good starting point as well to go back to the beginning and figure out what was the core reason that you started what you are doing. What is your why? And how are you communicating this through your materials? Are you talking enough about that? Like, what made you become, I don't know, an acupuncturist? What made you become an energy healer? What made you become a spiritual coach? Whatever it is that you are doing, it really doesn't matter at this point. But go back to your origin story. Okay, we all have one. Like my origin story was that I severely burnt myself out. I was a CEO of a hotel and I was working 16, 18-hour days for 7 days a week. I loved it. It was great. I was only 32, so I was still young and became a CEO at a young age. It was all good. And then just my body just said, no more. Like you're not following a path that is helping humanity. And I had a major burnout. And that's when I was yo-yoing between how do I choose business and how do I choose spirituality? Because I love spiritual development. I love people who are helping our world become a better place. And it just didn't feel right for me. So that was my why I'm working now only with the sort of holistic and spiritual industries. What is your why? If you don't know the answer, do a bit of journaling, meditate on that a little bit and write it down. Whatever you are writing down, then share with your audience. Maybe you are more active on social media, then share it on social media. Become vulnerable, become real, become authentic, and show the world really what's driving you. Because people within this sector, they are going to say yes to working with you when they trust you, when they feel like that, oh, okay, I can vibe with this guy, I can vibe with this girl, like I get them. And the only way for them to feel that way is for you to create that space for them and show them who is that soul behind this vessel and what is it that's driving you forward. So go back to your original why to help you understand, why am I even doing what I'm doing? And am I serving the community well enough for this why to come across? Okay. And the third sort of big step that you can be taking here is to really minimize what is it that you're actually doing within your marketing. I see this happening all the time, so don't feel bad if that's also you, that we are posting everywhere all at once and we are doing different activities. We are calling ourselves 10 different titles. I'm a massage therapist, I'm a tarot reader, I'm a everything all at once. This is also confusing your audience. So try to do a bit of a big, like a spring clean. Let's bring spring a little bit forward now and let's start doing that right away. And really figure out, like, how does your average week even look like when it comes to your marketing efforts? Marketing can also be something that maybe you're having a conversation within the heal list community. That could be a marketing activity you are doing, because maybe you could partner up with someone and you can join forces and do a similar event like what we are doing right now with Yuli. That is also marketing. So don't try to limit yourself in terms of thinking, okay, I'm running adverts or I'm doing something on social media. That's a very, very small fragment of the entire world of marketing. Maybe you are going to expos or any conferences or any kind of events physically, like locally in your area, where it brings together holistic people or brings together people who need your skill set. That's also marketing. You put yourself out there. Maybe you have an Instagram live, what Yulia was talking about, that she's going to be doing in the coming days. That's also something that you could be doing. But if you don't take kind of like stock of what's actually happening and you don't do like an inventory of what do you normally do, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to cut back on what isn't working. So can we just have a quick like chat, yes or no, just to understand like how many of you know what's actually happening within your marketing? Just a quick yes or no, like, do you know what's exactly happening in your marketing efforts or no? Just quickly, if we can have a yes or no, that would be great to see what's going on. Let's see. Okay. Good, good, very good. Almost nothing. Okay. That's better than doing everything. So that's actually a better situation. Okay, what to spend more energy on. Excellent. Really good. Too much, not much. Okay. Good. These are common. Not got a clue. Okay. These are perfectly normal. So please don't feel bad. That's why you're here. You're trying to figure out what you should be doing. Start here from tomorrow or from next week, whenever is the aligned timing for you. Just grab a notebook or just open a new document on your laptop and just start writing down, what did I do today? in regards to getting new clients. What did I do today to be seen by more people? What did I do today to share with the world that I have these gifts, that I have these talents? And just turn it into a simple journaling exercise at the end of each day or the beginning of each day. Just keep it super simple. Don't have to overcomplicate it. Marketing can be as simple as this, to track at least for 1 week, for you to understand what is it that you are doing, that you are trying to increase your visibility. Okay. And from at least 7 days, if you do that, you will see a nice little pattern shaping up, and you will realize that, okay, I'm either not doing anything, or I'm doing too much, or I don't know either which one of these activities are marketing. Become mindful about what brings you visibility, what brings you clients. If you don't know that, start there. Ask your previous clients. If you've had some clients already, ask them, hey, by the way, how did you find me? Like, did someone recommend, or did you hear about me from here or there? Okay, start there. If you are at that stage in your business that you have no clients whatsoever, then start getting yourself into this habit. When you are putting yourself out there, start capturing this attention of these people. Hey, how did you hear about me? Maybe they signed up for your newsletter. Maybe they followed you on social media. Drop them a quick message. Be social. Social media is about being social. Okay, ask them, hey, super cool to have you here. Can I ask you, how did you find me? Okay, those are some really good starting steps for you. So I hope this already helps. And I'm going to talk about social media. I'm going to actually jump onto that one next, because that's also a big topic. So I know a lot of you might feel a little bit overwhelmed about what should we even do on social media, because it can be extremely overwhelming. And if you don't know what you are doing, you can easily burn yourself out, because it is time consuming. It doesn't always bring the results immediately. So try to really figure out what is it that you want to be doing on social. If you don't have a big enough budget to allocate to different marketing activities, maybe having some Google ads or any other advertisements, social media can be a good platform for you, just to drum up a bit of traction and get your first few clients, or increase your visibility. But if you hate being on social media, and if you really don't enjoy doing it, then minimize the time that you are spending on there, and look at other sort of potential activities you could be doing. Personally, I'm not a big fan of spending a ton of time on social media. I've become very selective of what I do there and how I do it. And I turned my social media into my creative playground. It still brings me clients. Great. That is not my objective with it. But if you know what is it that you want to use it for, you will see that the entire content creation process becomes a lot more smoother. And I'm going to give you some very specific tips, and even with examples of what sort of content you can post on social media. But first thing first, what is it that you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing, so that you're not going to go crazy in a couple of weeks? Okay, so absolutely don't need to be following all the trends. You don't have to be doing the latest craze. You don't have to be doing the latest, I don't know, TikTok dances. You don't have to be using only the trending audios. Yes, they can help you, but does it feel like you? If not, your audience will feel it. They will sense it. You are here to create something new. You are here to serve the collective, to be part of that movement. So you don't have to just get in line. You're not where you are today because you followed the rules, right? I'm pretty sure that at some point you went against the norm and you said, F this, I'm not following this kind of societal norms. I want to be doing something bigger, something better for humanity, for the collective. Use the same kind of approach in your social media as well. The second bit that you see here as well, you might have heard the fake it till you make it. Great. No, don't do it. It's also going to backfire. You can visualize, you can manifest, you can use all of those tools. But if you do that on social media, if you portray yourself that, hey, I'm I don't know, a holistic practitioner with a 6-figure business, but in reality, you never had a client, that's really going to come through eventually. And your audience is not going to resonate with you. It's a lot better to admit, this is where I want to be. I want to be this holistic practitioner with a waiting list because I don't have enough capacity now to take on more clients. I'm not there yet, but guess what? I'm working my way through it. And I'm super grateful for already having had X amount of clients this month. Or I'm grateful for having been in business for X amount of months already. Or I'm grateful for even having the courage to start this thing and turn this into a way to make a living. That's already a big milestone for you. Okay. Try not to get caught up in sort of comparing yourself to where other businesses are or where other practitioners are, because there's so many easy ways for you to sort of buy those fake sort of results, especially on social media. I get approached a lot. People are trying to convince me to buy 100,000 followers for $100. Yeah, it sounds like a great deal. What am I going to do with it? I don't need those ego metrics, and you don't need them either, because if you have a 200K follower on social media, but none of them care about what you do, guess how many of them will ever purchase from you? None. Okay. You don't need to have those big numbers to achieve real results. I was getting clients from social media when I had 300 followers. Okay. And you don't have to be expecting that people won't take you seriously if you don't have a big follower account. No, that's absolutely not true. You can really work a small follower account. And I deliberately try to keep my socials quite low as well to prove my point, and try to say no to purchasing, these sort of followers. And that usually what brings me even better results. If you ever want to be getting caught up in the insights and the metrics of your social content, look at your engagement rate. If you are being active on social media, your engagement will tell you, does my audience actually like what I'm doing here? Are they seeing my content? Depending on which platform that you are being around. Personally, I say right now you can get much better engagement rate on TikTok. It just seems to be working a lot better. People are a lot more active, especially within the holistic and spiritual communities. It is a lot more authentic when it comes to creating content. You don't have to heavily edit the videos. It doesn't have to be that perfect. You can literally just record yourself as you are parked your car somewhere or as you are walking through a forest. It has a lot more raw and natural feel to it. Or you can stick to something like a bit unknown or not so popular social medias, like you can go on Reddit and then answer some people's questions about their maybe healing needs or their coaching needs, depending on what you are doing. There are so many ways for you to find what is it that you're doing. Just don't get caught up in those ego metrics, okay? So don't feel that your success depends on how many followers you have, because they can be very misleading. And you could easily have even 500,000 followers for a very little amount of money, but it's not going to bring you real results in the long term. But what you can do instead is, I kind of already hinted this, that be the real you and show people what is it that you are trying to do. So when you go back to your why, what we mentioned in the previous sort of slide, when you remind yourself why you started your thing and what is it that you're doing now, share that with your audience in a way that becomes relatable to them. So maybe if you're helping people, I don't know, heal or come over anxiety, for example, explain to them, like, why did you choose that kind of group? Did you have to deal with anxiety at some point in your life? And maybe alternative healing helped you get over it. Or maybe if you had a trauma or a dramatic event happening to you in your life that turned things around completely, which made you start doing what you're doing, share that with your audience. Try to always find something that, if your audience was maybe a potential new friend, ask yourself, what would we have in common? If I had to meet my potential new client and sit down for a coffee, what would we be talking about? What would be that moment when you said, hey, guess what? I had that too. Or yeah, I'm like that too. If you can pinpoint these little tiny sort of crossings between you and that potential client that you want to be working with, it becomes a lot more easier for you to develop trust with them. And when people trust you, they are more likely to say yes to working with you, especially within this sort of industry, when we're not looking to I don't know, have a little impulse buy to, I don't know, buy a case for your phone because you saw it in the shop on your way out. This is not that kind of product and service that you are doing. People either have some pain, emotional, physical, spiritual pain that you are helping them to overcome, or they have the curiosity that they want to evolve, they want to develop themselves, they want to go deeper into their journeys. Those are not the impulse purchases. For someone who is looking for these kind of solutions, what you are offering, they need to trust you, and they're going to be asking themselves, why should I choose this person? Why should I trust this person to share their insights with me, or put my health or spiritual health in their hands? So remind yourself that they need to feel like they can relate to you and they can trust you, and you can do that through your social content as well. And by the way, what you see here with social media, you can replicate for your newsletters, for your blog posts as well. If you create videos, you can use it for the same thing. It's content. You can reuse your content everywhere. I'm using social media as the example because probably most of you are focusing on social at this stage, especially if you're not quite sure what's happening in your marketing, or where you should be directing your focus. Okay. Knowing the objective, what you see there, what does it mean? It sounds a bit more businessy. Please don't be scared. It's all good. I'll break it down for you. So what it means to know your objective on social media is what I mentioned at the beginning. My objective on social media is just to have fun. I just want to be creative there. I don't want to have the pressure that I have to show up every day. I don't want to have the pressure that I need to get X amount of clients. I don't want to have the pressure to reply to every comment within 2 seconds. That's my personal choice. But decide, what is it that you want out of social media? Do you want social media to bring you clients? If yes, create this content specifically that explains what is it that you do. Make sure that your audience knows what they can buy from you if you want to have customers or clients coming from social media. Okay. If what you want to be doing on social is to maybe increase your credibility or grow your network to become more established, then find those other accounts that you look up to, or find similar kind of accounts and buddy up with them and do maybe a joint live with them, do a joint Instagram reel with them, or even you can do these things now on Facebook as well. So you can create these collaborations. Okay. You might have seen this on your feeds already, that you see not just one sort of profile posting something, but you can see 2 or even 3 of them posting together. You get better reach with those kind of content and posts as well. Plus you can start establishing yourself within that specific field, but figure out what is it that you want to achieve there. So many things you can do. You can just use social media to be social. After all, that's why it was actually created in the first place. But many of us forgot that social media is meant to be social. So then be social. Talk to your followers, talk to other accounts, engage with people, go into Facebook groups and talk to the community, ask them questions, answer their questions. Decide what it is that you want to be doing. But the bottom line has to be that you need to be providing value, okay, to your audience. So if you have already gained a few hundred followers, a few thousand followers, a few 10,000 followers, whatever your numbers are, doesn't matter at this stage. Just understand that the one thing they all have in common, you have to give them some kind of value. And that value could be something like you're answering their questions. It could be something that you're giving them insights, you're giving them guidance, or even teachings, depending on what is it that you are doing. The know-how kind of content still works super well on across all platforms. So if you have something that you can share with your audience, like how to do this or 5 steps to do that, share that with your audience, because people like that sort of digestible know-how and teaching. Okay, hopefully I'm not overwhelming you so far, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper now into the content creation, because that is such a big part of especially digital marketing. And even if you're going to be taking your marketing offline and go into the traditional route, content is still a big focal point of that. So how can you figure out what sort of content your actual client actually wants and what do they need, instead of you coming up with stuff that you think was good but no one is resonating with it. So serving the collective and serving your ideal clients or your soul clients is going to be the focus point of your marketing. If you only ask yourself one question regarding your marketing, ask yourself this: how can I serve the collective better? That's all you have to ask. How can I serve these people better? What can I do to serve them better? And that way you can really sort of zoom in on your own content strategy as well, and figure out how to serve them better. With regards to this specific industry, these are the 4 sort of core end goals I would recommend you to consider when it comes to creating your content. Make sure that it is genuine. It is coming from your heart, coming from your soul. It is you, the real you, being poured out into paper or to a screen, wherever it is that you are writing your content. So it needs to feel authentic. It needs to feel real. And for the person who is reading it, it has to be helpful. You have to help them in some way with your content, okay? Taking a I don't know, picture of your morning coffee might be entertaining for some. It's not going to help them. It's not going to want them to come back for more, because, yeah, great, we can see that, but that's not helping me, I don't know, feel better or feel more inspired, okay? So make sure that you move them somehow, either being helpful or being empowering and inspiring in some way. And it can be something like within the caption. It doesn't have to be always something amazing. It can be simple, but if you feel that you can inspire them just with one sentence, then just drop that in your caption on your social post as well. And informative, as I mentioned, with the helpful bit, make sure that you're sharing that know-how. So if you have something that is going to help them, share it with them, either in an article, it can be like an Instagram post, it could be even on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is, by the way, a great platform for holistic practitioners because it's not as oversaturated as Instagram or Facebook, or even nowadays TikTok is catching up. So that's a little gold mine there. If you want to branch into the world of LinkedIn, I highly recommend it. There's a major community living over there as well, with people who are conscious, who are spiritual, who are into holistic healing. So have a little browse around, because that could also help you. Okay. And here is your first exercise that you're going to love, because this is all about your intuition. So this is finally not something so technical or maybe that dry, but it will really help you to fine tune and zoom in on your content as well. If you're really stuck and you're not quite sure, where do I start? What do I post? What do I write? What do I put into my newsletter the next month? These are the sort of 3 kind of core questions you want to go through. Really tap into your intuition here. So don't let your rational brain take over, because you will be surprised how well you can utilize your intuition in your marketing. It's amazing what it can do for you when you become more mindful of these things. And now you're not just mindful about your own actions, but now you're becoming mindful of your audience and your ideal clients, and you tap into their shoes. This is when your entire marketing game will change, because you no longer do things for you, but you're going to be doing things for them. So do a bit of a sort of role play in your mind's eye, and try to even when you can do it through meditation. I do this through meditation, and I love that. I literally imagine myself like jumping into the body of a potential client of mine, and I try to see things from their eyes, and it can really help you reveal some new ideas, or maybe it will make you realize that your service needs some changes because that's not what they need. So try to figure out what goes through their minds. What sort of questions would they be asking themselves? And I'm going to come back to the question bit in a minute. But also look at your current offerings, look at your products or your services, and try to match these 2 things up. Like what your client is going through, the potential client, the questions that are racing through their minds. Maybe I give you an example. Maybe, I don't know, why can I not figure out my life's purpose? Or how do I balance my crown chakra? Or how can I get rid of this chronic pain in my back? These could be some of the questions that are going through their minds. And then take a look at your own solutions, the services that you are offering or the products that you are selling. Are they actually in alignment with the questions of these potential clients? If not, maybe it is the clients that you need to be changing and switching up. Maybe it's the wrong audience that you are targeting, or it's the product that you are not like putting in front of their faces. Okay. And the last bit is super interesting. So I always say that we end up attracting the same kind of clients, either that are similar to us, or maybe they were similar to us maybe a few years ago. So they have something in common with us. Those are the best kind of sort of healing opportunities for us as well. And your spiritual business can actually become an entire healing journey on its own. So I loved when Yuli was mentioning that she's doing the business healing, because that's exactly what's happening throughout the process. Try to think back to yourself from a few years ago, a few months ago, or 10 years ago, when you started to figure out what is it that you're doing now. What were you researching? What were some of those things that you were asking either on social media or on Google? And use those as your sort of little insights into understanding what your current clients would be also doing. And all you have to do after that in your marketing, just answer their questions. Figure out what are those sort of core questions that are running through their mind. And in your content, in your marketing efforts, be mindful of those questions and give them solutions, give them an answer to that question. So if their question is, how can I balance my chakras? Write a content around, hey, here are, I don't know, 5 quick, easy ways for you to get into the habit of balancing your energy flow or something like that. Or here's a workshop I'm going to be doing next week on, etc., etc. Give them the answers before they even have to ask the question. Hopefully that makes sense, and I'm not just confusing you even more, but feel free to drop any questions as we move along, because this is a big topic and I know we have limited time. So I try to make sure that we go through everything in time and to answer your questions as well. But 2 more exercises I brought you, which are going to be quite an interesting one. Going back to your content, figure out what is it that you want to achieve. I mentioned with social media already. Figure out, what do I want social media to do for me? Do the same with your content. Break down specifically all of your content types. So if you are recording little videos, maybe you're doing some shorts or you're doing TikToks, you're doing reels, figure out what is the result I want to have from this piece of content specifically. Maybe you are more of a writer and you like writing long form articles. Maybe you are writing shorter know-how articles for your website or on other platforms. Ask yourself, what do I want this piece of content to bring me? Okay. Even if you are uploading a story, what do I want this story to bring me? What is the result? Set your intentions. The same way that you are doing these activities in your day-to-day life, do it for your own content as well. Figure out what is it that you want, and it's perfectly okay to have all these different objectives. Okay. In my example, I give you specific examples. In my case, when I write super long articles. They are incredibly packed with a lot of know-how, but that's how I get my clients. People find me on Google. I'm on the first page of Google. I put in a lot of effort. My biggest sort of energy focus goes on to writing long form content. People go to my website, they read the free materials, and they end up working with me. So I don't have to do the dances on social media. That's just my own strategy. Okay. But a lot of people that I see had great success, and some of my clients as well, they do get along really well on spending time on social media. They can build that sort of audience, and they are turning them into clients as well. But they understand that, okay, this month I have maybe a new program launching, or this month I'm promoting a new service. They are creating content specifically with that in mind. So know what is it that you're trying to do. And then what you want to be doing is something what I call is a customer journey map. And I'm going to show you how it looks like. And you can grab that for free as well if you feel like using the template. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can figure this out on your own as well. But basically, put yourself back into your client's shoes again. So what I spoke about earlier, remember those questions, I did say I'm going to come back to them. So try to figure out what goes through their mind a little bit and try to understand what takes them to go from one stage to another. I'm just going to show you how this looks like so you can get a better understanding. So this is kind of what it looks like. It might be a little scary at first, but I'll run you through it. Just break your client's journey into these 5 core stages. Okay, this is when they have never known about you. Okay, they just literally become aware of who you are. So this is the first time they ever become aware of who you are. Then they start thinking about, okay, maybe I should work with them, maybe I should buy from them, maybe I should follow them, maybe I should subscribe. They are still thinking and they make a decision. Okay, so they become either a subscriber, a follower, or a client or a customer. And this is when you are delivering. Okay, this is when maybe you are giving them the sort of energy healing. Maybe you're giving them some guidance, some coaching, some teachings, perhaps, whatever it is that you are selling right now. And the last stage is going to be their customer loyalty. So those are people that already worked with you. So if you look at your current audience, if you've had clients already, they are here. Don't ever forget about them. Sales doesn't start here at the beginning. Real sales starts after you delivered your solution and your product, because that's how you can turn them into sort of, I call them walking advertisements. Please take this in nicest possible way, but that's what happens. If you did deliver a great service and you sort of exceeded their expectations, they're going to be recommending you left, right, center. Okay, they really become your walking advertisements and they will speed up your process of getting clients. Plus, you're doing something great out there in the world by over delivering. Okay, so don't forget about your previous clients. But you can grab this for free as well, so you don't have to write all of it down. We can send this out to you later. But these are the sort of touch points that you want to figure out with those questions. What happens each stage? So I filled out the first one for you so you can really understand how this works. So you can really see what happens. I'm going to zoom in a bit more so you can see it. Okay, so when they just become aware of who you are, then maybe this is what happens. What is the action that they do? Maybe, I don't know, they saw one of your posts on social media, or maybe one of their friends sent them your article or one of your videos that they found. That's how they become aware of who you are. Okay, what do? They click on your profile. Maybe they like the post, maybe they message you, maybe they go to your website, they start reading the rest of your pages. This is going to be the emotions, the most important section within this chart that you ever going to break out, because people make decisions based on emotions. And you need to understand what is it that they are feeling and what do you want them to feel? How do you want to empower them? And a lot of marketers use this in a horrible way, which is about manipulation. What we do here is we're using it to empower, to make sure that they are going to feel supported throughout their entire journey as they go through all the way until they purchase. Okay, so map this out so that you know what is it that they feel. The pain points is probably something that you've heard about already. It's basically understanding what their problems are. So maybe they are, I don't know, they haven't found the right teachers yet to learn from. Maybe they have chronic pain. Maybe they have some self-doubt. Maybe they had some trauma. Maybe they had some karmic blockages, whatever it is that they are going through. Figure that out and give them a solution immediately. It could be a simple thing as an article. It could be a freebie that you give to them to that problem. It could be just a nice, encouraging word. Maybe that's all they need. So you can use that in your materials. Okay. I know that this is a little bit heavy, but stick with it because it seems a little bit scary at first. But if you spend a little bit of time with this chart, you will understand that, okay, it's not that bad. Don't try to maybe work out all of them at once. And you're going to grab this as well, as I said, after the workshop. So don't try to rush through it because it is a little bit of a complex thing. But once you work it out, it's there for you forever. Okay. Unless you decide to change up your services or you want to change up your audience, that's perfectly normal as well. And if you stick with me for a few more minutes, I know we're a little bit over time, but I hope that you've got a few more minutes to spare. Just wanted to show you some examples real quickly that this is how it looks great, how it could look like when you are using all of this and you mold them into these core examples. Like, it's also great for your client or your potential audience because you are giving them very specific sort of know-how or giving them specific solutions. But it's also great for SEO, which is search engine optimization. So Google loves it. And that's one of my favorite topics as well, how to get on the first page of Google. It's not impossible. If you start with these kind of structures, maybe I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see them. Figure out like this sort of fill in the blank sort of solutions. And this is actually a tool that I built into the Mindful Marketing Toolkit. So it's a total of 12 of these fill in the blank title templates. You can use them as your social media posts. You can use them as your article titles. You can use them anywhere, basically. And if you got them, you don't have to do more than once a month. If you do something that is super thorough, that really leads them through going from A all the way to B. So you tell them, this is how you're going to get from here, like 6 ways that your solution helps you achieve the result they want to achieve. You're giving them a ton of value. You don't have to overdo it, but give them enough so that they feel like, okay, this person really knows what they are talking about, and this person is really credible as well. Okay. And that was the sort of core thing I wanted to mention. For those of you who are interested in SEO, just a little, or Google, just a little fun fact for the end. Next time you are Googling something, make sure that you watch out for these 2 bits. You might have seen them on Google. So when you type in that question, so when you worked out what goes through your client's mind, potentially, what are those questions that they are asking? Put that into Google and look at these other bits that come up within the search section of Google. And that will give you a lot more understanding into what people are actually searching on Google, so you can create better content for these people. So the question I put in here was how to balance chakras, I think. And you can see all these different new ideas, like how do you unblock your chakras, okay? Or how to balance chakras for beginners. That's something I would have not thought about. So it can open up a whole new world for your content, and it can really give you great insights. And this is something you can literally try straight away. Just put in a question into Google as we finish this workshop and see what else will come up from there. Okay. It's a lot, I know, and I hope that I didn't overwhelm you as as much as you came in with your eagerness to learn. It is a big topic. I love all of these topics, everything marketing. This is where I would start if I didn't know where to go with my marketing. Figure out your why, figure out what is it that I want to achieve with everything that I'm doing. Where is my content leading me? What are the sort of right platforms for me? And go back to your core why to understand, why did I start? What am I doing? What I'm doing? And then build from there. So maybe after, when you guys going to receive the sort of this PDF as well, digest what you heard today and then go through them one more time. I built it up in a way that will make sense to you for the second time as you read it through. Maybe you can also watch the replay again. And if you want any sort of new support, or you can just go to my website, there's going to be a link there for you as well. And you just read through a ton of my free articles, a lot of sort of know-how guides there as well, including also the toolkits that I've built. You can read through them, but you can go a lot deeper into the marketing specific side of things as well through the articles.